I sustained a traumatic brain injury in all lobes of my brain. I also had orthopedic injuries that manifested from my pelvis all the way down. I had to have reconstructive surgery on my pelvis and my femurs and a few other bones in the body. But the most severe of my injuries was my traumatic brain injury. My accident happened at Flat Rock Park. I was there one night with my college church group. We were playing a game at night called Cops and Robbers, and we were getting ready to leave, and we were by the exit of the park, and a drunk driver came off the road and hit me. They averaged going about 50 to 60 miles an hour. I don't have much memory of my acute care, which happened at a local trauma center. My parents seem to love the nursing staff, but I don't have much personal memory of it. When I actually came to, it was at Shepherd Center, and my occupational therapist, Ruth Ann, as I think that's when it kind of hit me. I was looking in a mirror and saw where they had shaved parts of my hair on my head, and she came in there and kind of calmed me down and told me, she's like, your mom's coming, she'll explain everything. And that's kind of when I first came to. And then the rehabilitation at Shepherd was just a godsend. They knew exactly what to home in on. They knew exactly what to treat, how, when, and where. It has severely impacted my life. And as I tell people, a traumatic brain injury is a lifelong injury. It doesn't go away. You can have strategies to make things better, to work with some of the deficits, but it doesn't go away. Instead of letting it hold me back, I've used it to actually push through and change my life and do other things in my life. With the degree in communication, I'm able to be a voice for so many that don't have a voice. A lot of times with a head injury, people never really regain the ability to publicly talk about their injuries and what they need and what the community needs to do to help them. Because I have regained that voice to talk on people's behalves, and I have a traumatic brain injury, I can now use my accident. Yeah, it changed my life, and I have severe deficits, but I can now use my accident to positively affect people. Focus is a huge deficit that I still work through. I have the focus attention of about a fly on a wall. When something drives by, I stop and I look at it, or I can leave a room and go to do one thing, and on the way I'll see something and I'll start doing another thing, and then an hour later I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. But focus, my attention. Also, let's see, I'm trying to think of things that I deal with on a daily basis besides focus. Impulse. I have a huge impulse control problem, especially when it comes to spending money and buying things. If it looks cool, if it's shiny, if it glows and has a light, I want it. I may not need it, but it's cool, so I buy it. But impulse control, focus, my emotions. My emotions I deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's anger. I've learned and I've worked with Dr. Bilski at Shepherd about my moments, as we call them, and it's where I just get really aggressive. I don't really remember what happened afterwards, but I've learned that there are things that trigger them. So I just try to avoid those triggers, and I try to have strategies to avoid getting there. Sleep deprivation is a huge thing with that, and my brain still doesn't like shut down. When I have stuff going on, I'm always up and I'm always doing stuff, so I have to make myself get sleep. That way I can control those emotions a little better. Contact is going to be the Disability Resource Center for the Chattahoochee Valley area, and we are going to offer people those resources that they have when they come home during community reentry that don't exist here in Columbus. With myself, it was hard to find those resources on community reentry because they just weren't here. So we've partnered up with other nonprofits, the National Federation of the Blind, National Alliance of Mental Illness, the Autism Hope Center, ARC of Greater Columbus, and we are going to be that one-stop shop for Columbus. When you walk in our door, we will help you. If we can't, we'll get you to the right people that can. There are things that I catch myself doing now, if we're in a parking lot or by a street, and sometimes we just forget to look up. And I'll catch myself putting my hand out in front of people. I'm like, oh, hold on, because I'm super cautious now about cars and whatnot. Which I never even saw the car coming. They actually came off the road when they hit me. But at the same time, and you can't prevent things like that. With a drunk driver, you can't prevent it. But there are things you can do to be a little more cautious. Sometimes we get caught up with our phones or our iPads or conversations, and we're just kind of strolling through a parking lot. Where we're just casually strolling through a parking lot, maybe someone else is caught up behind the wheel on their phone. They're texting in a parking lot and they don't see you and you don't see them. So just when you're around an area that has vehicles and pedestrians, just be cautious. Use your eyes, use your ears, use all your senses, and just be cautious. No phones. No phones. Definitely no drinking. Of course, that's how I was injured. I'm a huge advocate against drinking and driving. But also, people don't seem to realize that sleep deprivation can be just as bad, if not worse, than drunk driving. Using a phone or a mobile device or an iPad can be just as bad as drunk driving, if not worse. And people don't realize that. When you're behind the wheel of a car, you're in control of a 2,000 to 4,000 pound machine, a weapon. It's a deadly weapon. You have to use it with care. You have to be cautious. Just like the pedestrians need to be cautious when they're around vehicles, the operators of vehicles need to be cautious when they're in the vehicle. I mean, you can kill somebody with a 4,000 pound machine. So, people in driving school, they talk about tunnel vision and how tunnel vision is so bad. Well, vision to your iPad or your iPhone is just as bad. Mac vision is just as bad as tunnel vision. So just be cautious, be aware, and be smart. Don't let it stop you. Shepherd Center taught me that, I may do things a little differently. Sometimes it may take a little longer. But don't let your brain injury stop you. You can still succeed. You might have to succeed in a different area of life or succeed by a different way in life to get there. But you're the same person. You just, have to do things a little differently. So never let it hold you back.